Ranking the worst jobs to have. Before we start, let me just tell you something about my background. Why am I the one to rank these? Well, I've had a couple jobs. I think a military age male could do a decent job of ranking these.
Okay.
Consider myself pretty normal in terms of interests and stuff. As a 26-year-old man, what are the worst of these jobs? Starting off with construction worker. I have a couple friends who are construction workers, and I think it's pretty good. I think it's a decent job if you enjoy building shit. And I can see myself enjoying building something. The pay could be decent as well. The minus though, you gotta recognize that these guys have to be outside any weather. Alright, in the summer that's great, alright? You can stand out in the heat, shirt off, fucking banging. But you have to do the same in the winter time. And that probably sucks. I know it sucks because my friends tell me. Oil rig worker, that's a pretty good job, alright? You get to fucking physically exert yourself to the max down at the rig. Not having been an oil rig worker, but looks like fun. Getting fucking dirty and making hella fucking bread, alright? They make a good chunk of money. I think they have a pretty good schedule, like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or 1 week on, 2 week off. I don't fucking know. Librarian, yeah, that's a neck rope instantly. I could read a book. But I'm not chilling at the library. Surgeon, I'm gonna put that in the worst of the worst, because imagine the responsibility you have, and you have gone to school for 7 to 8 years, medical school, 7 to 8 years, and then you have practical application and job training, possibly another 3 to 4 years. It seems like a hard job, so kudos. If there's any surgeons watching this, I fucking doubt that, but you have my great respect. Pet food taster. I wouldn't go eat some pet food. Factory worker, well, that's a decent job, alright? Granted, you're paid a living wage, which is much higher than the standard wages are right now. To be a factory worker, fucking pump up the wages, alright? Make it possible to live. Nuclear power plant worker. You have to pardon my incompetence in the topic, but I feel like you could very easily get some cancer or some shit working that. I think that's an ignorant statement, because nuclear reactors don't really emit radiation on the grounds that you're working on, right? Very, very minimal. And unless there's an accident, you're safe. There's always that little risk. I think I wouldn't want to do that. Unless the wages were very good. Alright, YouTuber, that's... Yeah, you see me fucking trying, don't you? I would love that. Hell yeah, that's a pretty good life. That's the dream. Alright, animal breeder. So you just take animals and make more of them. Animal farming, like, yeah, alright. I wouldn't want to do that. I struggle with eating meat as it is. Eating meat and drinking milk and all that. I'm fucking borderline veggie, alright. That's a blatant lie. But I have contradicting thoughts about eating meat, like morally. There's a contradicting moral thing, right? I like animals, but I also eat them. So yeah, I can get why people are vegetarians. But I wouldn't want to be an animal breeder. I would not. Right, soldier. I could see myself being a soldier again. I have basic military training, but that's about it. I sort of enjoyed my conscript time as a conscript. It was 1 year or something. 10 months. I was in the Navy. I think it's a decent way of living. Thinking back, yeah, there were a couple times I just wanted to fucking jump off the end of the boat. I was in the Navy, Coast Guard. Yeah, I could see myself fucking ending it like that. But if I were to go back, I'd have higher pay and I wouldn't have to do conscript shit, right? So perhaps soldier could be a decent job. And the risk involved nowadays, you know, with the fucking tensions in the world. Yeah. But I have a friend who's a sergeant, I think. He's a sergeant. Don't quote me on that. Shout out. I think he earns a pretty good living being a sergeant in the military. And yeah, I could imagine myself being the equivalent on a shit. Yeah, and I enjoyed sailing, but school bus driver, it seems pretty chill, right? And if you earn the right amount of money, it could be pretty good. Paramedic, all right, that's a very painful job. The trauma you encounter, I feel like, is not worth the money you get out from it. You get to help people, that's right, you get to help people, but you will see things you cannot unsee. You will see things you cannot unsee, alright? So, I don't think I would be a paramedic, no. I wouldn't want, I don't think I would enjoy being a paramedic. I'd like to distance myself from death and suffering as much as possible. And all my greatest respects to anyone who works in the immediate response jobs like police, firemen, and paramedics who see the type of suffering I'm talking about. All right, roofer. Now that's construction, but you're just doing roofs, and you are outside all day, putting shingles on the roof. You're putting the material on the roof. Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy that. That's the worst part of construction. And that's your entire job. That's all you do. You're outside all year. I don't think I would like that. Amazon warehouse. That's a last choice. I've not heard anything positive about working at an Amazon warehouse. Tracking your bathroom breaks. Seems like a very toxic place to work. Waffle House. We don't have Waffle House in Norway, but I'd imagine it's some sort of restaurant. I'm not doing that. Sewer cleaner. So you're standing in shit up to your hips all day. That's a last choice for me. I know you might think, oh, you got soft hands, brother. You enjoy that shit, don't you? Yeah. Fucking nasty ass. Lifeguard. Alright. Lifeguard. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good job. You sort of like the paramedic, but you're not exposed to the car accidents and all that. You're just exposed to drowning and helping people if they encounter troubles while they're out in the water. I could enjoy being a lifeguard. Yeah. Furry porn artist. Not that good at drawing and not my jam. Not my jam. Crime scene cleaner. Again, you're encountering these deathly things. That's even worse than paramedic, I feel like. You're in the muck. Oh, yeah, no. Teacher. Alright. I enjoy teaching people things, but knowing the wages suck. I'm gonna go for a very painful, like, right there. That's one of the last choices, I think. That's up there with crime scene cleaner. Like, you're in there probably with kids. If I were to be a teacher, I would probably opt for university and become a professor, but I'm not getting a fucking PhD just to teach college, alright? Porn scene cleanup, yeah, that's very painful, but it's gonna be above crime scene. That's right up there with paramedic. Very painful job. Smells like shit. Probably smells. Can you imagine the fucking smell in there, dude? Singer, songwriter, or dancer. Yeah, I could see myself writing some music. My singing voice isn't all that great, but it would be a decent life. Probably, that depends. If you're very in the top 10%, you can make a decent living. If you're in the top 1%, you're ultra famous. But then it's granted you have a fantastic talent. As a 26-year-old, that seems unlikely, alright? You'd have to opt for being the bottom 90% of singer, songwriter, dancer. So it's probably crappy. Queen's Guard. So rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. But I'm gonna change this to... I can't change it. Bodyguard. I can see myself being fucking Jason Bourne Bodyguard type. All right, now dentist. I would not enjoy. That's the same thing as surgery, pretty much, but less intricate, I guess. I put that up with a very painful one. I don't think I would enjoy being a dentist. Like, imagine the smell. People not brushing their teeth. You have to fix them, and you're fucking hosing down their teeth, and out comes some muck, and it releases some smell. Oh, nope. Writer. I could see myself becoming a writer, writing with some bullshit, and some story, or a novel or something. Yep. All of these antisocial lives, I could see myself. I can see myself doing that shit. Uber driver, if it paid well enough, but it's not a good pay. They get extorted, I think. I feel like they get scammed by the Uber. So I'd say Uber driver, but once they get in the car, I tell them to cancel the drive and just pay me cash. Cancel the ride, pay me cash. Alright, pay me cash. Or get the fuck out. That's what I would do. Porn cameraman. You're missing out on all the fun. I'll leave it at that. Animator. I could see myself being an animator, alright. It's hard work, but it's so hard. It's so rewarding to sit there and animate something, alright. I really love animation. But as most things in my life, when I realize I'm very unlikely to come something, I just drop it and start something else. That's how I work. That's what I do. If animation was a viable option, at least here in Norway, I would go for that. I would still be honing my craft, but instead I'm researching design principles in in public sector in Norway. Right, nursing home worker. That's up there with the worst of the worst. Not only are you encountering death a whole lot, but there's shit, there's puke, there's sadness, there's people fearing death every day, there's people not getting visited by their family. That's gotta fucking suck. For some of them, you're the only person they see, or one of the only people that you're their whole life. And that could be very rewarding, or that could really mess you up. I don't think I would enjoy that, alright? Fast food worker, alright? Put the fries in a bag. That's worst of the worst. That's our last choice. I wouldn't enjoy that. Artist. Alright, so since we're already covered singer-songwriter, I'm thinking artist is like a painter or making artworks. So that's up there. So that's up there, alright. I'd put that at... You're probably not making it as an artist. You can say that for YouTube too, right? But I think it's easier to pull off doing YouTube than being an artist. And you have to have some talent. You have to have some... That's nice. Right, suicide hotline. Talking people out of suicide all day. I can see how that would be rewarding, but imagine the times you fail. Imagine the times you fail. And you're forever restricted in help-wise. You're forever restricted by the capabilities of the support system that's around, right? So even if you talk to the person and talk them out of it, there's still this whole support system that has to help the person that's calling. And at least in Norway, I experienced that doesn't work very well. All right, people kill themselves all the time here. So that, and having contacted not suicide hotlines but chat services in Norway, the help you get, you don't get help. You don't really get help. All right, and it's I can see why people fucking just end it. All right, because as men we're told to reach out before it's too late. Reach out before it's too late. But I reached out to this help service and chatted for a bit, and it doesn't. They just tell you to fucking stop bitching about it. Like fucking, there's no instant recommendation to, all right, you should go to the doctor and try to get a psychologist to talk to, or a therapist. Nothing like that. You just fucking go outside, go for a walk, read a book, go to the gym or something. Nothing like go to the doctor and get some professional help. I'm so embarrassed by the Norwegian system. So if you're encountering suicidal thoughts, and for God's sake, just call the suicide hotline. I haven't contacted the suicide hotline, but you have to. I'd perhaps, if I were struggling again, I'd contact a private psychologist instantly instead of trying to go through the public route. Spend that fucking $1,000 or 10,000 kroners on a private psychologist and therapist, because that's, if you're struggling, you're gonna need it. If you're going the public route, you're not getting help. There's this thing in Norway called fast mental health help. That's what it's called. And I know someone who contacted them, right? Or got referred to them through their doctor. You know how fast they were? It took 3 months. 3 fucking months before they contacted my friend. It's not preventative in the slightest, alright? It's not good enough. It sucks. And it's a serious problem. It's a serious problem. I would love to help people, but the support system around it has to be regulated at a political level, such that it can be effective, because it's not effective. So it's probably a very painful job to have. Cleaner, that could be a crappy job. Customer service. If it's in the public sector, I'd do it. That's probably a decent. Trucker, like driving around in a truck, hauling goods. That's probably a decent job. Riding around. I enjoy driving, so you'd get pretty fucking good at reversing a trailer too. School janitor. Yeah, that's probably an alright job. And if the pay was good, I'd put it up there with the crappy to decent job. Alright. That's the tier list. Best jobs: all rig worker, YouTuber, lifeguard, or writer, or animator. Do you work in any of these jobs? What do you think about my placements? Let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, thank you for watching.